This presentation has been produced for exclusive use by agents of the Holy Inquisition for educational and instructional purposes. If you are not a sanctioned agent of the Inquisition, it is your solemn duty to cease viewing this recording immediately and report how you came into possession of this material to your local authorities. Failure to do so will be met with severe consequences, as prescribed by the divine laws of the Imperium of Man. The secrets contained within this presentation are meant to safeguard humanity and preserve the sanctity of the God Emperor's Imperium. Unauthorized access to this information is punishable by death. Remember, ignorance is a virtue and curiosity leads to damnation.
Air. When you live on a series of space rocks, floating set against the darkness of the 42nd millennium, air is extremely precious. And so it is something of a surprise to see it leaking on the jetway between a massive cruiser and a much more massive space rock. As the cruiser detaches hoses and jets unsteadily, slowly away from the rock, we see that 3 other ships are joining it. They are not adorned with skulls. They contain no writings of scripture. There is no paint to grace their sides. On the lead cruiser, there is but 2 words: Darkwind. When you are a rogue trader, only you can afford the price of individuality. And so it is that Chaderius Darkwind, rogue trader warranted, steps forward onto his bridge and begins a broadcast to his fleet, to his ship, and to Cites Delta of the Iron Archipelago, which is owned almost entirely by his businesses. He begins to tell about the day of remembrance that will come soon, as they go to fight the Torashar, of the perilous journey through the Hallis Corridor, of the navigation of Lady Tesseria, and of the strength of arms that he and his guard will bring to bear against these slavers who dare to create a colony of humans beyond the edge of the Emperor's light. But we do not follow such a speech. Instead, we are inside Cites Delta now, a massive mining colony that has long since outlived the mining use, hollowing out a giant space rock. Now it is a center of commerce and refurbishment, of bureaucracy and paperwork, of too many people crammed into too small of a space. And yet, the rooms we look upon have that precious space. A bedroom, a full kitchen, a private bath, a bookshelf. These luxuries, these private amenities, are what can be afforded to 3 newly hires to the Chaderius Darkwind Enterprises, as we find our heroes waking up for their first morning of work. Welcome to Warhammer 40K, Imperium Maledictum, the Iron Archipelago campaign. I am APGamingREAL, and I will be your game master. And I thought perhaps we should introduce ourselves and our characters a little bit before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Grimdark James, why don't you tell us about yourself with such an auspicious Warhammer 40K-like name?
So before I go into that, can I ask for one quick point of clarification?
Sure.
Is that a private bath each, or one private bath for the
Private
3 of
bath
us to
each
share?
inside of your suite of apartments. Yeah.
And a bookshelf each as well, right? Yes.
Yeah. Private
excellent.
bookshelf. That way you can keep your genealogical records separate.
All right. I'm Grimdark James, as AP said. If you haven't seen the episode 0 because you don't give AP enough money, then
It's public.
whoa. It's public now, is it? Okay.
That's public. The episode -1 campaign creation, that is Patreon only.
Okay. Well, that is the one that is much better value. It's the one that you really, you won't understand most of this campaign if you don't.
You'll never know why it's called Pelagio. The Iron Archipelago.
Yeah. So I'm Grimdark James. I used to do the Grimdark podcast, which was all about the 40k RPG settings above my head. There's 100+ episodes on the website grimdarkpodcast.com. We don't do that anymore because everything sort of fell apart with the change from FFG to Ulysses Spieler to Cubicle 7. But you know what? We still play the games, and I'm here playing one of those games right now, as I play a lot of AP's games and spend a lot of time on his server. So that's where you'll usually find me, or on Omar's channel too, playing Battletech as well. But I will be playing Holly Van der Velt, a sister famulus of the Sororitas, who is here to promote genetic purity, or at least genetic. What's the term for it? When you're trying to build genetic lines.
We just call that Moadibing around here.
Kwisatz Haderach?
Yeah, Kwisatz
That's right,
Haderach.
yes, that's right. Yeah. The first thing I'll be asking you to do is put your hand in a box.
Don't forget the needle.
What's in the box, James?
Pain.
Pain.
Yes. Looking forward to see where it goes.
All right.
Eugenics, that's what I was looking for.
Eugenics. That's the bad type of genetics. Omar Creek, what's going on with you?
Oh, well, hello, my friends. I am Omar Creek. I do some streaming and role-playing stuff, and this is the first time actually being on an APGamingREAL show, so this will be a fun new experience for me. The only other show I've been on with you, AP, is your intro hour, and that's actually it.
I've been told that Blood Bowl is on my channel because it's on my Discord.
Well, but that's not your show. You host it.
Listen, I buy that for sure. It's not my show. As much as people try to gaslight me into it.
Although you did recruit me into that show, so I will say that.
I recruited a lot of people into that show.
Yeah, so I do, some Battletech stuff, some Traveler 2300 stuff. Got some other stuff in the works that Kain will be, hopefully, everything lines up right, will be participating in as well. And of course, as James said, he's in my GTL 3-on-3 league, which is this wonderful background that I have here where I cover up, a couple of the team logos, but actually one of them is not very important. The other one is my son, so.
Okay. Who are you playing?
Oh, yes, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Well, he just blends into the crowd. I forget about him. I play Velamris Quineel. He is a penumbra, which is, in fewer words than otherwise could be used, he is basically the Imperium Maledictum version of a rogue. Sneaky boy, blended into the crowd because he's not... he doesn't really stand out too much. Although apparently 5'10", 180 does make one slightly above average.
I feel like you could blend into a crowd at 5'10", 180
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
You can easily blend into a crowd with that.
Yeah. KainDamael, what's going on over there?
Well, right now you can find me in more shows on AP's channel than I thought I was going to be in. I am looking forward to a maybe project with Omar. And I am playing Elysian veteran Sergeant Rassie Van Lucht, who is a tiny gun monkey.
We like those around here.
With a great haircut.
With an amazing haircut.
I love that he's on
Rassie's-
screen right now, too.
Yeah, he came up at just the right time for that haircut comment.
Rassie's got a little bit of a little bit of a nervous tick. That's a little bit of a bob whenever just not in motion.
Perfect.
He's got the first person shooter head bob going on. Is that right?
Idle animation that never stops.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that because Rassie has a gun on his chibi, he's too wide to be the same size as the other chibis. Just to address the chibi in the room, it's not a reference to the fact that he's short.
He's not making up. He's not compensating for anything.
Yeah. But he is short, though, isn't he?
He is short.
He is short, yeah.
But the chibi is not reflective of that. The three of you have found yourselves in incomparable luxury. For you, Velamris, you had an 8-hour timeshare on an apartment that you had 7.5 hours of sleep and 30 minutes to yourself in between work shifts. Holly, a monastic cell is the unfortunate life of the lowest ranking among the sororitas. It's not that you weren't provided for, but privacy was for prayers.
Yeah, I slept on a pallet.
And Rassie von Lucht, over a year living with your squad, abandoned in the worst part of cargo container / alien warship that melded together, orbiting the nearby space hulk, forgotten to all in the terrors of bureaucracy. What is said about your living arrangements prior to this, or perhaps best unsaid. And yet, all of you find yourselves in a quiet, well-appointed, calm environment with a nice exterior view, which could be somewhat hard to find in the center of a massive multi-level complex of an interior asteroid, but it's in a nice part of Cetes Delta. It looks good looking outside.
So when you say exterior view, you mean looking into the asteroid, not looking
Into
out
the
into
asteroid,
space?
not out into space, yes.
Yeah.
We have the promenade view.
Yeah, the promenade view, yeah.
Yeah.
Next, you're going to be dangling your legs over it with your best friend, mocking everybody down there in the market that you can see.
Definitely
I'm
sounds like
no
something Velamris
engineer.
would do.
I'm no engineer, but I appreciate that windows on a spaceship are, they
Structural weakness.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. Just like putting your bridge at the top of the ship.
How long has it been from now to our prequels?
For each of us, it is quite different. Holly has been here for the longest time. Velamris has been here for several weeks. And for Rassie, it has been but a few days since you were rescued by the Space Marine.
Okay.
Jolly Blue Giant.
I've been told that the armor of the Brazen Consuls is actually brown, not blue, despite being an Ultramarine successor. So
The Jolly Brown Giant.
the Jolly
you go.
Brunch doesn't sound as good. Sounds a bit spoopy.
I mean, what color does brass go when it gets hot? Does it go blue when it gets hot?
When everything gets hot enough, it turns kind of whitish. Yeah. All of you are reporting to your first day of work today as factored agents of the Darkwind Trading House, a subsidy of the Darkwind Estate and Enterprises. There is a vehicle waiting to transit you to work at your leisure. And there is a doorman who has your mail, your pics, and any messages that have been left for you when you're prepared to leave. Is there anything you do to prepare before you get ready for work? In this,
Definitely have a recap.
a recap,
Oh, yeah.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little
gotta have some
recap machine as well, yeah, in the full kitchenette.
Rassie woke up early to spend a full hour soaking in the tub with the sunglasses on.
Wow, we learned so much about him in one sentence.
Yeah.
Does your domicile have a pull-up bar out of interest? Like, hung over
He
one
has
of
to
the
do pull-ups
doors?
before he can get in the bathtub.
There's definitely something that's being used as one.
She wouldn't be by
like-
the door frame, or you couldn't reach it. It had to be somewhere lower down the wall.
Wow. Should be noted that Grimdark James is actually pretty tall in real life, and now he's making fun of all of us short kings.
There's just like a chair underneath. Like there's a chair in the doorway that leads from like the kitchen to the bathroom. And I think with still some time before needing to leave, Rassie will go to the door to see the doorman. Sunglasses, the hair's been done, in a towel, opens the door and says, "I mail?"
So a man with a articulated cybernetic eye that has the shape of a monocle, a little blue cap, and like a classical early 1900s doorman's uniform, scuttles over towards you and says, "Ah, yes, Sergeant Van Lucht. I have several packages here for you. There is a message from Suprenza regarding your new equipment. I have here a decree from Sector Lord Alus Sejanus for you, and your official new posting."
All right, I'll take a look at those.
He hands them over to you. One of them is much more important looking than the others because it is printed out on a scroll and has several seals on top of it. Quite flowery high Gothic script, which I believe you can't read.
Nope. So I'll start with the fancy one and see if there's anything on it I can read.
You recognize the proper name Alus Sejanus at the bottom, and that's about it.
Okay, I'll have to find someone to read this for me. Okay, next.
You have a message from one of your former squad mates, Suprenza.
Okay.
It includes a pic of her and your two other squad mates all doing V shapes. They have fresh new 143rd outfits with their fully refurbished Elysium drop trooper gear. They are somewhere else on Cites Delta, and it's just an explanation saying, like, boss, this is the best job we've ever had. They have us like going outside doing drops on infractionists through exterior windows. I mean, come on, man. Structural weakness. If you need us, we're here for you, Sergeant. Suprenza.
I think he enjoys the read. He takes the pics. He goes over to where he took like two of the shelves off the bookshelf to make a big space that he's got. He has the original like super raggedy standard next to a new one, sort of like a little shrine, and he's got some mementos there, and he'll put the pic on the memento stand.
The last package is a fresh copy of the Imperial Infantryman's Primer. You haven't had one for almost 2 years, and not having one in your position is grounds for execution. So it is nice to have this. It does include a note that Elysium drop trooper gear is not available in the local area and will be provided for you just as soon as funds can be adjudicated for it. Sorry, allocated for it. Buying one and shipping it across the galaxy for you.
All right. He'll take the fresh copy of the primer and he'll place it on his
it smells
clothes.
So good to have it. I mean, it's got that papery smell that smells like motor pool grease, primer, and hard work. You can hear a commissar yelling at you in your ear when you hold it.
Yeah, he'll put it down on top of the stack of folded clothes that he hasn't put on yet. And he'll look around in the kitchen. I think at this point it's been noticed that he's gone through and he's found things that he thinks he can package up as food, and he started squirreling them away.
That's what do you call it? Resource protection, or whatever. It's like what dogs do if you steal their food all the time, is they try to take it away and hide it, sort of stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, otherwise Rassie's gonna eat some breakfast and get dressed. That's Rassie's morning.
Since this is a UK-based property rather than a US one, I will get the post, not the mail.
Very well. You get the post from the doorman. The doorman scuttles over towards you and gives you a slight bow and makes a sign of the Aquila and says, I am so sorry, sister. There have been no messages for you today.
No, don't need to apologize. That's good. That means that I have a relatively free day to focus on other activities. Thank you very much. Excellent job. Tap him on the shoulder and go back inside.
Okay.
Yeah, Velamris will
scuffles away.
I think Velamris will. I feel like he's been here for a few weeks or more. I think initially he would be getting up promptly at that 7.5 hour mark that he's so used to out of habit. But as he realizes over a couple of weeks that he doesn't have to be quite so punctual, he will start sleeping in a little bit. We're starting to push 8.5 hours at this point, but some habits die hard. So eventually he does get up at a fairly reasonable time, get cleaned up, start brewing the recaf, pour some actual cereal instead of the goop that he was eating before. And then he'll check in to see if he has any post for you, James, just for you.
I made a
he's
note
not expecting anything. So this is almost like it's literally just like looking outside and then popping back inside because he's not expecting anything whatsoever.
It should be noted that so far, everything that's happened is fairly realistic right up until we got to a man sleeping for 9 hours. And that's how I know that this is a fictional show.
I did point out it was closer to 8 to 8.5 hours at this point.
8 to 8.5, sure. Please, just give me this one. I thought that was pretty good. For someone who sleeps 5 hours, the 9-hour dream is so far away. You open the door. The doorman is still scuttling away from Holly and then wheels around, and his monocle refocuses on you and says, Master Quineel, I have several letters of note here for you.
Shocking.
And he reaches into his messenger bag and pulls out a series of advertisements for local businesses.
Of course.
One of them is
Nothing
just
important.
like, do you require companionship? Another one is just like walkable distances, mixed zonage. You can't get it anywhere else. Do you like your current accommodations, or are you looking to move down in the world? Why not try the capsules at the crypt? Capsules at the crypt today.
I think he will. Yeah. Does this? I imagine we would probably know this guy's name, or is he just so low servant based?
The doorman?
Yeah, the doorman.
His name is Schreiber.
Schreiber?
Yes.
I think he'll just he'll take the mail and just give the customary thank you, Schreiber, and nice tailcoat, by the way.
So before you go back inside, I think that I actually come out of my apartment, like jog up to the messenger as well. So I just realized I should have given you a benediction. So, blessings of the Emperor upon you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you mean him?
Yeah.
He beams with pride and honor as you do that, and again makes the sign of the Aquila before moving back to his doorman's alcove and watching people on the street go past the front door and scowling at anybody that gets too close to the door that doesn't look like they belong here.
Like, if he walks back and I'm still standing there and Omar's character's still in the doorway, I'll probably just turn and say, it's amazing how the rogue trader has, paid for a servant list where a servitor would have done just as well.
Well, I'm sure, as you can imagine, rogue traders are usually fairly well off. I don't think we've actually met yet, have we?
No, sorry, Sister Holly of
sister.
I've forgotten the order name.
Order
I feel like-
Famulus.
No, but like I had like the actual name of the order, like the Order of Shattered Glass or something. I think it was something like that. Or
Something I remember watching it. I don't remember what it was now. I feel like I don't know what the proper decorum at this point would be for Velamris, who is basically just another body meeting a sister. I don't know if there's like a bow or a sign of the Aquila or anything like that that's supposed to be prudent.
Do you just go
Whatever
through
it is,
all of them?
Yeah, he'll hit a couple of them. He'll actually start to like take a knee and be like, wait, it's just a sister. This isn't like a holy mother superior or anything like that. So wait, maybe not. But otherwise, and eventually he'll stick out his hand for greeting.
Order of Hallowed Glass. That's the one. Sorry.
There you go. And Velamris, nice to meet you, Sister Holly. Hold on. There's like a light bulb in the back of his head.
A lumen globe.
Yes. And but it doesn't quite illuminate everything. Like it's there. The name sounds vaguely familiar.
It's flickering, and it also has that humming noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's a broken hum because it doesn't quite stay lit.
It's one of those really popular new light bulbs that are just like a really, really bright filament, but don't produce actually much light.
Yeah, there you go. So it burns twice as hot in half the time. And then he just kind of, you see him do this little stutter step, this little mental break for a second, and then he's just back to smiling, and he waves the handful of advertisements. I don't know why I just called them advertisements, junk mail. And he says, well, I guess I got some junk mail to get through. I wouldn't want to keep you I wouldn't want to keep you from whatever you got going on.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Maybe get that, sort of sudden freezing looked at. Strokes kill.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was just a vacant memory or a distant memory that I need to check some notes on or something.
I go back to my domicile then.
Yep, Velamris will go back in, and it'll probably take him like another couple of hours before he realizes that there was originally a reason to talk to Sister Holly, and he'll be like, I'm sure I'll see her again.
All of you get your communicators a 5-minute warning before your carpool van will show up to take you to your new place of business.
As soon as the 5-minute notification goes out, Rassie slings a bag on, slings the guns on, and then prepares to go stand and wait.
Yes, the life of the military. Hurry up and wait.
So I know that a lot of the damaged Elysian gear is on order. So what kind of uniform does Rassie have?
A Imperial Guardsman standard issue uniform with whatever kit your character sheet says that you have.
Does it at least? I mean, Rassie would have at least taken the time to make sure it has like the 143rd on it
Of
and
course,
the proper like lance
yeah.
insignia and stuff. Okay. Yeah, Rassie's covered in weapons and standing, hurried up and waiting.
Step out of the building with that beautiful, sweet-smelling air into the dusty, smoky, hazy, particulate-laden interior of Cites Delta. There is, I want to call it Ferrocrete, but that's Battletech. Rockcrete, I believe is the word. Yep. Rockcrete, sidewalk. Someone immediately shoulder checks you, and you get the idea that you're probably going to get shoulder checked about 4 more times over the next minute as people with their heads down continue to walk past you and almost treat you like you're not even there. Vehicles burst past, and even hover vehicles and air cars zoom overhead in a sort of crazy, not quite hive level, but certainly a busy mixed industrial mercantile section of Cites Delta. It's loud, and it's crazy, and it's full of people, which you have not been in some time. But at least it's not dropping from the sky into a war zone.
I think with all the extra sound and stuff, especially after the last year, I think while Rassie is standing and waiting for the ride, just sort of like one arm crossed and the other one just like rubbing the nose, just like starting to get a headache from all the sound.
So when I come out, not only I'm carrying my staff, which I use as like an affectation. I don't need it to walk, but it's it's staffed office. But I've also fastened my loudhailer onto my shoulder. So I have it's a skull where the jaw has been removed and replaced with a horn speaker, and I do have like a pickup, down here I can turn on. But currently it's playing like my Spotify list of my favorite Imperial hymns.
Lo-fi beats to worship the Emperor too. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Like not loud enough to disturb you, but it's like you think of like the person on the train whose earbuds are so loud you can hear.
Yeah.
Their song gets in your head. That's what it's like for other people. It's like it's quiet, but it's loud enough that people around still hear it.
It's dark and dirty here. It's nothing like the beautiful light of Macaria, but unlike Rassie, people don't hassle you. They glance up from whatever they're doing to generously sidestep around you. Some very obviously doing something like a genuflection to show respect as they gingerly step around.
Velamris will toss the junk mail onto a table or something with some sort of mental note to review it later. Nothing that he saw initially caught his eye, so he's not worried about it. And then he'll get the notice for the carpool. So he'll grab his normal gear. He obviously is not going to be taking the sniper rifle with him. That's going to stay in his room. But he will carry his auto pistol or whatever the sidearm is that I have that I don't quite recall off the top of my head. But that'll be under his robes along with all of his other accoutrement that he'll have. And he'll step out and he'll see Sister Holly and this angry short drop trooper. Well, he's not angry, but he's probably angry because he's short. I don't know.
I want to imagine Velamris.
Rassie's got this super serious look. They're sort of like staring into the middle distance all the time. And as each of you like stop in the same vicinity, you get like the and then he goes back to waiting.
I want to imagine Velamris that no one shoulder checks you. And you don't need to do anything to move around the crowd. You're so used to moving in these circumstances. Yeah. You've become part of the teeming mass of humanity. They push gently around you as if you aren't even there.
He's Assassin's Creeding in his way. He's just walking through the crowd.
You belong here.
Yeah.
Something like a Zodiac that has wheels on the outside approaches your position. At the driver's side, and because this is British, of course, they're on the opposite side for us Americans, is the torso of a man-servitor attached into the vehicle with a arm that's like human and then a steering wheel arm that is permanently built into the vehicle, and it turns its head towards the three of you. And what at first appear to be fully human eyes put out a series of scanning beams and scan all of you and say, hop on in.
Get up and in.
Yeah, Velamris is he's gonna give a quizzical look at the scan, but then he'll just, all right, well, this is obviously us. And he'll hop in and sit down and try to give everybody sufficient room around him.
Rassie hops in and then sort of does the settling in to like adjust the pack and all the weapons around to sit down more comfortably.
Time to destination, 3 minutes, 47 seconds.
Oh, this will be a short ride. Insert Jetson's noises here.
As you begin to make your way, the camera pulls away from you and does the cinematic look following you as you drive up several levels.
Title card moment for sure.
Up to a pretty nice building in a commercial district. It doesn't have the word Darkwind on the outside of it, and it has a attached garage. And as you pull into the garage, one of the mechanics nearby goes, "Quineel, get over here!"
Oh, this must be my stop. And he'll hop off and head on over to the source of that voice.
Yeah. So he's standing in front of a ground vehicle that looks like a extended length white panel van, with the exception that it has no windshield. The windshield has been removed and has been replaced with a armored plating that would normally go on something like a Lehman Russ. You know, like it's got the thin shield for the driver to look out of.
Yep.
And the side paneling looks like the hatchway of a ship that you pull off and then lock into place both back into and away from. There are very clearly spots for, like, the top is supposed to pop out and display like a pintle mount, and there are like gun ports that you can knock out of the interior of the vehicle. It's like half transport van, half track, because the back wheels are like a
tracked.
double half track. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
He says, I've got it saying that you and your squad will be taking this out today, and we're going to be signing it out to you for whatever you need. I need you to sign here, and on the next 47 pages, initial.
This is me laughing. Velamris would just kind of give like this, just like, of course, there's 9 pages of shit to sign and he's used to this because, you know, the Adeptus Administratum. And
there aren't 49 pages. There's just one spot for you to sign.
Have you reached the Administratum quest in Rogue Trader yet?
No.
There is a great, like, wait in line, fill out paperwork quest in Rogue Trader that really gives the impression
amazing.
That Administratum is like...
That's almost enough by itself to get me back into the game just to find that quest.
So you go to Flip to look for these other 47 pages. There are no other 47 pages. He just smiles and punches you in the shoulder, tosses you the owner's manual, and says, don't lose the keys. They're in there.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to take the keys, pocket it, and probably start at some sort of pre-op checks just to make sure the vehicle is doing all the things it's got to do, because I have no idea what mission that I'm about to go on and these other people. So if I'm driving it or I'm the one responsible for it, I might as well start looking it over, make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be.
Perfect. And that sets us up for the first roll of the game.
Lovely. Let's do it.
Yeah. Do you have any specialty in the mechanization of tracked vehicles or ground vehicles in any way?
I don't even think I have drive. Let me see. What do we got here?
Well, this is going to be a very difficult time for you. You did ask specifically.
I do have piloting.
I was going to say, you asked to be hired as a driver, so this is going to be a rough one.
I have 40 of piloting, so let me see what happens here.
Okay.
I don't have any specialties, though. That's the only difference now.
That's all right. You're doing this at +10 difficulty, so it's easier than normal because it's just driving or checking out a car.
Oh, I can just type modifier because it goes from challenging 0 to routine 20.
It's the between 20 and 0 should be at +10.
I'm not seeing it in the difficulty
You'll have to
selector.
type it in then.
Yeah.
Just wait until you get to those -50 rolls.
Let's see. All right, roll it. Let's see what happens. Did it roll?
It hasn't rolled yet.
There it is.
You rolled a 99, which is a critical failure.
Wow! Awesome! Jesus!
Welcome to the game.
What an incredible
Do I burn
roll.
a fate point, or not burn a fate point, but I use a fate point already? Good God! I will. I'm gonna reroll that.
Okay. It can only get slightly worse than that.
I don't know if it can.
No,
I mean,
100
I guess
is possible.
I guess it's possible. Oops. And no.
Chat's saying the machine spirit hates you. All right, now you rolled a 9. +5, astounding success. You check out this vehicle and you don't embarrass yourself or otherwise disable it. You don't remove any spark plugs or accidentally kick open the oil and just cause it to drip everywhere. Just something that would make you look like the kind of idiot that doesn't belong in this garage full of real mechanics. It is a highly functional vehicle. The engine inside is definitely soupier than it should be. It's got a little bit too much oxygen gas mix in it. Probably not gonna, it's not perfect. But yeah, it's a fully functioning it's like a IFV.
I'm picturing in my head like a half-track version of a combat FedEx truck.
Yeah, it definitely has the capability inside to fit several pallets all in one row as well.
Right. Yeah, that's just what I'm picturing in my head. Just a more combat-oriented half-track FedEx truck minus the FedEx logo.
So Rassie, you watch as a person who was... Oh, sorry, Rassie and Holly, you watch as someone who's in the vehicle with you immediately goes, grabs a book, and then goes underneath of a car and starts working on it.
Well, I plan to hop out and go to the front door. I gotta find someone to report to.
You head to the front door. You can see that there is a servitor there who is just clocking into work as a servitor, as it were. Walks up to a wall that says it has been 240, and he takes a chalk tablet and puts 1 instead of a 0. It has been 241 days since the last on-site fatality. He sees you come in, turns towards you, scans you with his eyes, and then turns and continues walking down the hallway, very Borg-like.
Okay, I'm gonna keep walking around.
You find your way to a sort of round open room. There's no security here. Absolutely terrible location. The sight lines in are good. The sight lines out are bad. There's no cover. There's barely any chest high walls. Private cubicle rooms off to the side. Sorry, not cubicle. Private rooms for offices off to the side. Not a defensible location at all. There is one person seated at a large desk in the center of the room, wearing white robes that lead all the way down to their ankles. They have a eye of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on a cloak clasp, and their head is down, filling out some paperwork and shuffling things around. They don't appear to have noticed you.
Well, having gone over my talents again, I'm going to walk up to this individual.
They do not notice you.
Excuse me.
Ah! Van Lucht, right?
Yes, Sergeant Van Lucht reporting for duty.
Their head turns to face you, and they've got the Geordie LaForge visor on, and gesture to their desk and says, I've got your paperwork and identification scroll right here. You can go ahead and pick it up yourself.
Lean over and grab it.
Okay. Take a few steps back. You've got a thing.
Takes a few steps back.
Where's the rest of your squad?
I'm
at Van Zant. Quineel.
Well, somebody named Quineel is underneath a truck outside.
Okay, well, he's supposed to be in here.
Do you want me to fetch him?
Yeah, and the sister as well. Come on.
Oh, I didn't know the sister was with us, as he turns
Sergeant,
to...
Stop talking.
He just sort of like side eyes beneath his sunglasses and stops talking.
As you turn to walk away, you notice that you're being followed by a servo skull that has a pict capture on it. That's just following you slightly behind you at eye level. Like a third-person camera.
He'll like look over his shoulder to look right at it, and then just kind of shrug. He doesn't know what to expect for the day anyways.
Okay.
And he's going to go look for the sister.
All right. Holly?
Yep. I've got out of the transport. I'm sort of heading towards my regular workplace. So
Okay. You run into Rassie. He's got a servo skull following him around.
Sister.
sorry, is that Major? Or I don't recognize the rank marking. Sorry,
I'm a sergeant. It's no problem.
All right, is that higher or lower?
It's lower than a major. I'm not an officer.
All right. Can I help you, Sergeant?
Apparently, we're supposed to be meeting with someone in the round room in the middle. I got sent to collect you and the guy who's under the truck. So,
Are you guys close enough for me to have heard you say that?
I think
I
so.
don't know how far. Okay. Yeah. When I hear the guy under the truck, I'm going to assume they're talking about me, and I'm going to poke my head out and be like, "What?"
You're Quineel, right?
Quineel. Yes.
Quineel? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What's
up?
We got a meeting. Apparently.
Oh, lovely. And I'll scamper out from under the truck. Whatever, if I've got a valve open, I'll close it off or what have you. But otherwise, I'll grab the book and the keys, throw them under my robes, and I guess follow the rest of you. And I'm also going to be looking at this servo skull, kind of like, well, this isn't the first time I've seen one of these, but also why? And then leave the rest of my thoughts to myself.
We cut to a
while we're walking there?
private room that's like there's a chair for confessional there, and there's no one there seated in the seat. And then the servo skull floats into the camera, looks at the camera, and just kind of before floating away.
The servo skull does a fourth wall break.
I feel like while we're walking together, Rassie will say, "Whoever I didn't get a name yet for who we're meeting with, but I guess they have very sensitive hearing. When I was talking, I guess I was talking too loud. So,
did you ask the servo skull?
I haven't talked to the servo skull.
The three of you almost trip over a small rat creature pushing a mop and bucket. For you, Rassie, you immediately feel the need to murder this creature because it is a abhuman, unjustified aberration against the Emperor. Holly, you're kind of indifferent about it. I mean, you probably should immediately kill this thing, but it very clearly works here. And Velamris, you think it's kind of cute. It looks up at all of you and goes, "Grapsies?"
No grapsies.
He puts his head down and sadly pushes the mop and bucket ahead of him when you say no grapsis.
Like a hand on the stub revolver. It just looks. Why does it have a mop? Why would it have a mop? What is that? And why is it here?
I mean, it may be under sanction from the rogue trader. They can sanction within restrictions, certain xenoforms or abhumans to exist.
Maybe he's just a janitor and he can get into some really small places. Maybe that's why they hired him. I'm totally spitballing here.
I mean, do you need to clean places that nobody can see?
I find that question slightly odd coming from a sister, but what do I know?
I should probably ask questions before I shoot it.
That would be a fair, safe thing to do.
You hear someone say, "I can hear you jawing in the hall. This may not be the Mechanicus or a Scala Progenum, but we do still expect some level of decorum and attendance on time."
I guess that's the room that we need to be in. And I'm going to start heading that way.
Yeah.
You arrive seeing the same Adeptus Astra Telepathica filling out paperwork, looking irritated. He turns and sees Velamris and Holly enter, and he stands and produces 2 sets of paperwork and a laminated scroll that has your likeness on it and an indicator of who you are. All right, so you're the new factored agents team. You'll be working directly underneath me as your supervisor. I assume you've all gotten to know each other to some extent.
I think he'll turn. I'm going to turn to Rassie, and I'm going to be like, well, I mean, I rode here with you, and I've seen you.
It's a yes or no question.
What's your name? Fair enough. No, I've met Sister Holly, and I've only just barely met our guardsman.
It'll get done.
Right. There'll be time for you to get to know each other. I am liturgical, your supervisor. As you may have figured out, I am a psyker. Your job is today, and perhaps for the rest of your employment, to head to the local administratum offices and introduce to them your paperwork, transferring you from your various branches or forms of employment to the service of the Chaderius Darkwind Trading House. And he hands over a stack of paperwork and says, once that's done, we can start with your real 6-month job. And you could see that he's got like a whole presentation behind him that has 3 thermometers and like a white marker board. And he's all ready to do that. And he says, we can get started just as soon as you've returned. You may want to take the vehicle, some rations, and a blanket.
How do we have directions or any sort of navigational capability to figure out where we have to go, or is this something we would just know?
He reaches down into his desk and pulls out a AAA map.
Well, good to know that 38,000 years from now, AAA still exists.
It's the Administratum.
AAA
Administratum Automobile Agency, making maps of all of your local areas.
It is the Adeptus Astra Administratum, so...
Yeah, there you go. I'll definitely take the street map, and...
One more thing. The servo skull belongs to our inquisitorial contact. Anything you do during your employment here as a factored agent has a immediate pardon with the Inquisitorial Service, and they are real, by the way. You'll be watched at all times. At all times. I believe Robert is somewhere around here.
What happens if we split up?
Well, I'm not the Inquisition, so I don't know.
So does the Servo Skull know who to follow? Oh, look at the Servo Skull. Do you has your job been explained to you?
The Servo Skull turns to look at you and just sort of hovers ominously, clearly recording you right now.
Yeah.
Like, Rassie's been like talking really soft since we've gone back in his room and says, is there somewhere in the building we can
Why
pick
are you
up
speaking
rations?
like that?
Oh, and I thought maybe I was talking too loudly earlier when we were talking.
No, you're just annoying.
He just sort of like shrugs and goes, I get that more often than not.
Can I read the Servo Skull? Just get a feel for it, its mental state.
Yes.
Intuition?
Sure.
Would people apply?
Ooh, I don't think so.
Probably not. It's probably got a rat brain. So.
Yeah, I don't think that one's gonna fly.
This is my first time meeting it though, so I got to plus that.
Oh, of course, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna make the Servo Skull like you.
Oh no, okay. I got a good feel.
It's a Servo Skull. It hovers ominously at you.
Okay.
You can re-roll that if you really want to.
Ah, that's right. I wasn't meant to be.
I think Velamris will just regard the Servo Skull briefly, look at the stack of paperwork that he has to fill out, make sure all the pertinent information is correct, stack it on top of the owner's manual for the vehicle, and
well, we should probably go back to our domiciles if they want us to get things like blankets and a pillow. We're going to be there for a while.
I'm sure we can do that. He
starts
looking at the map.
Access to a vehicle?
Yes, I have a vehicle outside. It looks kind of like a half-track, something that maybe was taken from the orcs and repurposed. I don't know.
Do you know how to drive it?
Sure. I'm pretty sure he may have actually used that same tone.
Yeah, the Servo Skull is flicking between the two of you, and then it just kind of stays on Velamris for a long time when he says sure.
Yeah, I'll drive. I'm responsible for that vehicle anyway, apparently.
All right.
But yeah, we could definitely swing back by the house. And when he says the house, he's going to throw a little extra emphasis on it for the sarcasm, because clearly it's not a house.
Sorry, Sarge, I didn't give you a name before. I'm Sister Holly, by the way.
I'm
the hallowed glass.
Sergeant Van Lucht.
You said that before.
What the order to? I'm sorry, the order of what?
Hallowed glass.
What does your order do?
What don't we do? So we're all about ensuring that important Imperial lines continue through a selected program of marriages and breeding. We assist houses with key political decisions and provide guidance. I basically give like the. I read the wiki article to the sergeant, basically.
I feel like while you start talking, like at some point, Rassie sort of gives you a gesture of let's walk and talk so we can go to the truck and listens.
So you're a matchmaker in a very blunt sort of way.
I mean, anyone can simply bring two people together. It's not about the people; it's about the lines and the genetics. It's actually a lot more a lot more medical than it is social in many ways.
I can see that. And you said your name was Rassie? Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Rassie Van Lucht.
Rassie Van Lucht. You know, it's funny, and I think at this point, hearing that second name he will remember from several months ago one of his original tasks he was never completed for it, ended up with a 1.25 rating or something like that. And he'd be like, let me ask you two a question. This is gonna sound really stupid, but bear with me for a moment. If I were to write your name on a roster, last name first name last, middle initial, how would you want your name presented?
So I don't really know how the administrator. So I have one of those triple barrel surnames, so it's Van der Velt. So I don't know whether you put it under V for Velt or V for Van, but obviously VA versus VE. I don't have a middle initial, or at least it's not recorded in my file. So, I mean, I have a ordainment name, which also applies then, which is Dominica. So I guess maybe a D for a middle initial, but I don't know whether you'd actually put that into. I mean, you look like the adept. How would you record that?
Well, it's not so much how I would record it; it's how somebody in my Rassie, you'll understand this. I think my former chain of command would want it. So you said your name was Holly Van der Velt, and so what they wanted, it would be Velt. Holly V, or I guess maybe in this case, Holly VD, and then I don't know, maybe VDD because of the Dominica on there. And then for Sergeant Van Lucht, it would be Lucht, Rassie, V. But that doesn't make sense because.
Oh, it's like, do you have a middle initial?
No.
At any rate, it's kind of a moot point now. I was just curious to what you might think. Somebody in the administratum wanted me to figure this out months ago. I sent letters. Obviously, you guys never got them. I'm not with them anymore, as you could tell from our current task of fill out this paperwork and take it over to yonder building.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's kind of weird.
So
I mean, a lot of the paperwork that I'm used to doing, I just put my number down.
What planet were you on when you sent letters? Sorry,
I'm sorry.
What planet were you on when you sent letters?
Oh my goodness, what planet was that?
Was it
or whatever?
Not Macaria?
No, I was not on Macaria. I've never been to Macaria.
Then it's probably still in transit. I'll get it when I return in 6 months.
Sure.
Or you can just tell me now what the letter was about.
Well, it was just trying to find out. So somebody wanted their names on the roster to appear in a certain fashion. And because you and Van Lucht here had a non-standard last name, for lack of a better way to put it, they decided that they wanted to have it be, Lucht, Rassie, V, and Velt, Holly, V, D, I guess. I don't know. Personally, I think it's kind of silly because clearly Velt is not your last name. It's Van der Velt. And Lucht is not your last name. It's Van Lucht. But that's just my opinion, and I'm just a low pencil pusher.
This is the longest conversation I've ever had about my name, and it's probably we've probably done it to death now.
Well, the funny part is, coming from the sister Famulus, that you're having a long conversation, but I guess the uniqueness being your name that we're talking about as opposed to somebody else's.
Yeah.
At any rate, I think the truck's ready, so whenever you guys are ready, we'll just hop on, we'll swing by the house and grab our stuff.
Well, I heard you. Well, what's your full name? You got a preferred way to be called?
You can call me Velamris, but it's Velamris Quineel.
Really?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the 143rd? 143rd Elysian Regiment?
It's a good possibility. I saw lots of names, lots of numbers even.
So if you had heard of them, it was unimportant enough that you don't really remember anyways. Wasn't anything notable?
I feel like Kain is setting me up here. Gosh, I mean, it's been several months. There was something, there might have been a transfer order or requisition form maybe that I saw, but I'm not even sure if it was the 143rd. It could have been the 141st or the 142nd or 341 at this point. I wish I could give you a better answer though.
It's not that big a deal. Just curious. So he slings his bag into the back of the truck and climbs in.
After spending a whole year plus in the middle of nowhere with no way home.
Oh, he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Velamris is trying to play it off. He's got a little bit more memory than that, but he doesn't quite remember everything.
So on the ride over, because I was telling you about what the Order Family is, I'm going to use Gothic gibberish on the sergeant. Doesn't have to be in Gothic. I'm just speaking, fast and in great detail, just so I can make another roll for fun. So I'm going to roll my rapport charm against your discipline's
will,
composure.
Discipline. Oh, for a specialty.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just have discipline.
Oh, we both failed. Okay.
Nothing happens.
So, yeah, you're not stunned for a round.
Okay.
If it means anything, Kain failed less.
No, we got the same degrees of failure.
No, actually, no. It's
by degrees.
For both. Yeah.
It's death by degrees. Second.
Yeah.
So, sister, if you work with a lot of distinguished personalities, you must know High Gothic.
Yes.
Would you be willing to read something for me? I don't know High Gothic, and I think I'm supposed to know what's on this.
It's not prescribed, is it?
It was sent to me. I don't
proscribed, not prescribed.
Yeah.
Velamris just up in the front. He's like, "Is there a difference?"
Right. I don't know.
All right, let's have a look.
As you get prepared to look at it, Velamris pulls the car out of the garage. We see a dark figure dash, unseen to any but our eyes, go under the vehicle right as it stops to make the turn out, and pull themselves up so that they're hanging underneath the vehicle. And that is where we're going to take our first break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for the middle part of tonight's adventure. Stick around. The episode returns with the sound of the studio audience clapping and cheering as we see the three individuals and their half-track armored van arrive in a public parking lot one of those like tall sky tower parking garages. Next
Are we
to,
going to take it as read that I told him what the letter said, but the audience didn't get to see that?
Yeah,
They don't know what. Okay.
we'll do the reveal in a second. Right next to the local administratum building, which has people flowing in and out. However, you can see that there is built into the side of this massive edifice, marble steps, skulls everywhere, huge flowing ornate tapestries, tabards with symbols of the Aquila, with symbols of the Administratum, the Adeptus Terra. To one side is a series of kiosks that have servitors giving numbers, and a series of booths set outside of the building into the side of the massive stone edifice, where extremely tired workers are doing the express administratum paperwork for those who need to get it done quickly and perhaps at a slight fee. Holly, as you're stepping out of the vehicle, you are reading a decree from Sector Lord Aulus Sejanus, indicating that the 143rd Regiment has been temporarily detached at their own request for 1 year of service to the Darkwind Rogue Trader House.
Okay. I mean, I'll read it out as I translate it and sort of pan it back and go, there you go. It's pretty much the same orders we all got.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Would it be too much trouble, maybe as we got time, since we're going to be working together apparently, would you be able to tutor me in High Gothic?
I guess if we have time to work on it around our other activities, I don't see how that would be a problem. If you're, I have some expectations about, dedication to learning. I don't want, if I give you a task to do, I don't want you going, well, I was too busy doing whatever else, cleaning my phoenix's teeth, and I didn't have time to study.
Well, I'm a dedicated personality. I don't do things halfway.
Okay.
Would you mind including me in that as well? I think maybe learning a little High Gothic would possibly be beneficial, since
I guess
we're working for the Rogue Trader.
They just didn't write books like Spot and the Ball in High Gothic for kids to learn on. You'll have to learn on some pretty hardcore texts. And
Sam the Servo Skull.
Yeah.
Sam the Servo Skull.
The Servo Skull perks up when you say Servo Skull, and it gets floating around all of you.
As you ever watch?
Oh, go ahead.
Do you ever watch Red Dwarf, like the UK comedy show Red Dwarf? And they have the thing there where the cats have their own language, and which is all based on smells. And Lister gets the cat children's book, and he's going, "See, Sam, run. Run, Sam, run."
That's amazing.
He goes, there's this great point later on where Sam gets this ball, this big red ball.
The three of you make your way down the stairs to the level that is appropriate for the administratum. As you exit the parking garage, you see that there are 3 Votonic clones, space dwarves, who have a bit of cardboard laid out, and they appear to be dancing to the sounds of Adeptus Mechanicus prayer chants that have been remastered with binaric screeching and occasionally some bass backtracking.
Is this the 40K equivalent of what was Sleep Out? Yes, Sleep Out 40K. Yeah.
I was listening to the Mechanicus soundtrack from the game, and I was like, I'm 100% putting this as the street music that the people listen to on CT's Delta.
The industrial sounds of a Mechanicus bay.
There's no opera in this one.
Do these botanic dancers, do they have a cup or a bucket or something that I could maybe throw some change into as we could pass them by?
No. Well, first off, they don't use your human money, but that when you pass by and you look like you're going to throw something, all three of them stop and eerily look at you. They all look exactly the same as they stare at you. And one of them goes, "Want to join us, lad?"
No, I thought maybe
you can't throw down.
I am not a dancer. Not even
Everyone's a dancer.
Okay, your logic may be sound, but I am not a dancer.
When you say his logic may be sound, he turns and smirks at the other two, and they both nod.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna, I wanted to give you a tip or something. I thought maybe that's what you were doing this for, but forgive me if I'm seem rude, but that was all I wanted.
He turns back towards you and says, "I do it for the love of the dance." And then he kicks the device, which looks nowhere near Imperial tech. It's like a gray box that has two loud hailers behind a steel cage with multiple buttons that extend out from, or almost like tabs that you have to press down upon. He presses one of them, and then they all begin resuming their breakdance routine as they listen to these Adeptus Mechanicus beats.
What would you base dancing on, AP?
I was just thinking that too.
Some sort of coordination roll. Look, I may not know the exact stats of this system, but I assume there's some sort of dexterity-like stats.
There's dexterity and there's reflexes.
I would take dexterity. Oh, athletics. Yeah, absolutely. I would take athletics for sure. Why, you want to throw down, sister?
Yeah, why not?
You're breaking the habit?
This is...
Are you going to use your staff as a...
I'm bringing some glee into your office, AP.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going to use your staff as a prop for your
Let's hope it's season 1. All right, go ahead. Show me what you got. +0.
Well, so first off, what I want to do is I would like to make a roll to get them to build rapport, so I get +1 influence with the group.
Of course.
So I need to make a challenging rapport or presence test. Let's go with rapport.
Okay,
that succeeds.
All you can mark down that you have an increase with kin hard bottle.
Okay. I'm gonna kin hard bottle. Is that his name, or is that like kin?
Kin is the name of their organization, their clone line.
And now I will do my much poorer athletics roll.
With a +10.
Okay, and I get to add 1 little success to it.
Bowhammer's got some good memes.
Hey, I did succeed.
Okay. How are you dancing? Are you attempting to match their dance, or are you?
No. It's like the classic dance off in like a TV show where like it's in time with the music, but it's like two clashing dance styles. So whereas they might be breakdancing, I might be like nightclub dancing.
Are you having your loud hailer play Ministorum beats while you're dancing?
I mean, if I can find a Ministorum song which is at the same time scale as
BPM?
their song,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Rassie sees the start and wants to join in and try to go along with the sister.
Go ahead.
So it looks like this is a dance off. So
now my question is, what music are you dancing to? Because you have 2 choices now.
I'm trying to back up the sister. We're a group now.
You have a +10 to this then, because you get her influence boost. Okay.
So I because of this scene, AP, you know how like sometimes when you have a character in a game, you have a feel for like which actor would play your character in like a televised. So I've now decided that it would be was it Melissa Benoit, like for the girl that played Supergirl, but when she was in Glee.
Yes.
That's yeah.
These would all be played by Danny DeVito.
Well, I think at this point, since the other 2 are doing this, Velamris is going to give some sort of a shrug and just try to follow along as best he can, following the sister. Because at this point, he's feeling a little... he wouldn't be part of the crowd if he wasn't trying to participate as well at this point. So he'll go ahead and do his, and I apparently succeeded rather well.
So here's my question. Does your +4 indicate that you've blended into the background perfectly, or that you've impressed everyone immensely with your dancing skills?
Wow,
I want to imagine. Listen, if it's one way, you're the guy in the background that's like, "Oh, hey!" You're the hype beast in the background.
Yeah, he doesn't like drawing a lot of attention to himself either. So I think he's just a backup dancer that just
perfect.
Flows
You're the guy
right
who goes, "That's Rufio."
Yeah.
It's crazy. Rufio from Hook is also Zuko from Avatar. That's wild.
Sorry.
You perfectly blend into the background of the growing crowd. These Votanics versus Imperial citizens. A dance-off of 148 BPMs with the Ministorum songs playing. People nearby are also looking for a cup to throw things in, but in general, they just like to see the Imperium represented. And it's always nice to see a public servant like the sister throwing down. So you gather a bit more attention, perhaps, than you were hoping for. But it is a moment of levity and fun that your lives have perhaps not had until this moment. So one of the kin says, "Oh, nice job. You've impressed me. And that's not easy to do. Which organization are the three of you with?"
Darkwind.
Darkwind. I'll remember that. So the three of them look at each other, and then they all three fist bump perfectly in a triple fist bump stack, pick up their boombox device, their Votanic music player, and their cardboard, and head out to move to another street to attract a different crowd.
Is there a faction Votanic League? Would that be their faction?
The Leagues of Votan, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Since you said it was 148 beats a minute, it's definitely a Himmel version of Mr. Brightside.
Trying to imagine what that's like. Referring to Sanguinus, of course. That's who the song's about, right? It is Chaderius Darkwind, not Wing. Chaderius Darkwing is from another game. Yeah. The people on the street begin to spread out and go about their business as the looming temple of bureaucracy awaits you on the other side of the parking garage.
When I woke up this morning, I didn't think there would be a dance-off, or that would be live featuring in a musical of my life.
More for you, Omar.
Indeed.
You gotta grab the fun while you can.
So it would seem.
Looks over at the administrative building right next to it. You gotta grab the fun while you can.
Yeah. You don't have any dance-offs in the administrative?
I think Velamris is definitely having a moment of point and counterpoint here. Two stark differences of oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Polarization. Fun versus this monumental task of whatever the administratum says. Shall we?
Yes.
Would you like to head inside the building for the official line, or would you like to try to get the express pay line at the outside kiosks?
Would I know? Okay, so obviously the express line might be, slightly faster. It might only take a couple years versus a decade to get paperwork moved. But I feel like with my own Adeptus Administratum connection or what have you, I would know a way to maybe expedite without having to use the express.
Oh, look at
this
guy.
Is that a possibility?
Do you have any background abilities that would come into play here?
Oh, let me see. What are my talents? I have +1 faction with the Administratum.
That's pretty good. That's a good start.
And I also have Data Delver, which is more for research.
I'll take it though.
And that just gives me. Let me double check what that says here. I have advantage on tests made to find or retrieve information from a document or archive.
So advantage means that when you roll the dice, you pick the 10s and the 1s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can swap them basically.
So, and then skills wise,
I will take intuition with either specialization surroundings or specialization administratum on this roll, and you'll have advantage on it.
Intuition? Is that
intuition?
Oh, I see it. Yeah. And you said a plus 10?
No. So
no, with advantage.
You've got, with advantage. You take the advantage right out box when you go to do it.
Okay. I will definitely take that 26 over 62.
The soundtrack, by the way, as you're looking at this place, is totally different than the Mechanicus beats or the Ministorum beats. Now it's now it's like an ominous, like the bridge sounds from like Voyager or Enterprise, the Star Trek, like and like beeping noises, but like an evil version of that, like that, but on a pipe.
The mirror
organ.
universe. The mirror universe.
Your 62 has become a 26 because with advantage you get to move things around and you have one degree of success. So I'll leave it up to you whether you know somebody here or whether you just know that if you go into the main building, you as a, I mean, you're not technically a former, you're undercover, so you could just go into the back area, the rectory, as it were, at this priesthood, and just get the behind-the-scenes scoop from a supervisor. Get your paperwork.
I think I do something. So I think I'm going to do something like that. So what I want to do is, one, I don't want to stand out. My cover to me personally doesn't mean anything, but obviously now I'm in the belly of the beast, as it were. So I have to kind of play along. So I don't necessarily want to use I have additional connections, but I do know how to work around the administratum. It's been my life's blood for since I became an adult, so I know how to get around. And I feel like I just managed to find that one desk, maybe with that one person that I probably don't know, but I know if I approach this individual or this workstation, I can cut a lot of time off of the time needed to complete this task.
You make your way into the building, past the open lobby that looks like Grand Central Station in its majesty and grandeur, and also by the fact that there are a ton of people milling around who don't know what they're doing and aren't going anywhere very quickly. You go past
a long queue,
huge teller. Well, I mean, Warhammer 40K is British, so yes, they naturally queued for no apparent reason. It's an instinctual flocking mechanism. They just love lines, man. 20-foot tall teller windows that are marble edifices with harsh angular corners, and then massive, like the window is like set 8 feet tall, and then there's a huge cash register style like prompter that they type on that leaves them just looking down on the subjects of their interrogations and work.
And you have a pedestal, I'm sure, to get up to.
Yeah,
but you're still
well, lower. It's a series of steps to get you up there.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
You look when you sit behind it, you look magisterial and ornate, and not like you needed a series of flight of steps to climb up into your seat. You cut around that line. You head to the employee area where you present quietly credentials and wave Holly and Rassie and behind you. Making your way through the cramped labyrinthian, there are pipes that hiss as you work your way into the back workspaces, into the bureaucracy zone, and you find the John desk of the guy that had your job. There's a desk for this guy at every station, the guy that everybody hates, that they dump all the work on, but they have to work quickly, so they're always very good. It's just that they're disliked. You arrive in front of the John desk.
Yeah, when I show up and I start my initial approach, I'm going to slip like, I don't know, 50 Solaris in with my paperwork, not as a bribe per se, but more of a token of appreciation, because I know what that job is like.
An expediting fee.
A pity fee.
You say that, but try and slide $50 in with a ticket to a cop and say it's an appreciation thing and see what they think.
I'm gonna do this.
On the cop.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this administratively. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna use.
Oh, so you submit it with a form that basically covers off, like, you ask for a receipt. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, and because obviously I want to get this guy's rapport a little bit.
As you're standing there, he begins going through the three of yours paperwork silently, and he says, "Raise your hand, Holly Van der Velt."
I'll raise my hand.
You approve of all of this paperwork transferring you to the branch work?
Yes.
Rassie Van der Velt, hand please. You also...
Ben Lucht. Oh, I know that.
Yeah, yes,
Accuracy is important with this
Van Lucht.
paper.
Yes, it's the GM's apology. You also approve of this transfer?
I do.
Very well. Velamris Quineel says here that you're being detached for undercover duty within the trading house of Darkwind?
Yes.
Very well. We'll just get you signed up here for our undercover agent paperwork.
I feel like Rassie just sort of looks to the side at Holly and then just looks back like...
The servo skull also looks at you. And I want to offer this opportunity for a confessional scene set somewhere else in this office with you seated in a chair if anyone wants to talk to the skull.
Yeah, I think this would be Velamris' one would be like, I don't even care anymore.
We cut back to Velamris shifting awkwardly while talking to this guy.
You know what? I think Rassie would like to take the aside.
You're seated, the skull looking at you. We can see Holly and Velamris in the background talking to the clerk.
I know I just met the guy. And I found out that he was bad at paperwork.
The skull nods.
But now, not only is he bad at that, he's already bad at the job that he was here to do with us, and he's a bad undercover agent. What can this guy do? And that's my aside.
We cut back to Rassie just shaking his head with the rest of the group.
Velamris, actually, you know what? Just so I can have a quick one, just so I can throw an idea I had. Velamris would take that aside moment. And he's going to look dead at the servo skull and he'd be like, 1.24. If that was meant to motivate me, it did. Just not in the direction you wanted.
Really chicken out there.
That's
huh?
all he. That's all he wanted
Would
to say.
they call that quiet quitting?
Yeah.
James, can I offer you a premium aside?
No. I mean, like, I think the moment it's passed. I think if I had an aside immediately after that was said, it would have just been me staring at the camera, blinking twice.
This guy finishes your paperwork. He has stamped all of it, and he says, "You'll need to deliver this to the tertiary data crypt."
Okay.
Level 43.
43.
Your credentials should get you in.
Indeed.
He hands the packet to you and says, I got to get back to work.
No, and thank you for your help. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you see that 50 you put on the table. He puts his hand over it and drags the hand away, and the 50 goes with it.
And I'll just give a knowing nod and turn to the other two. All right, 43rd floor, tertiary adjunct of the Unimatrix. I don't actually say that, obviously.
He
I just
shakes his head.
I just want to slip in a Borg reference.
Well, I guess after you, secret agent.
Let's not make that too obvious, because I don't really care anymore, but I don't think we need everybody knowing. Kind of defeats the whole purpose in the first place.
It just like pointedly looks over at the servo skull and says, yeah, I think we can respect that privacy.
Just to be clear, this is a full open concept office with dozens of bureaucrats in it who heard this entire conversation. They all have their heads down and are dourly working on the most pathetic and bothersome bureaucracy known to man, and none of them care about anything that's just happened.
Yeah,
they have their quotas.
Being within earshot and hearing.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Hearing and listening. That's two separate things.
You quickly find out that the tertiary data crypts are not located inside this building. It requires you to go out back and then take a elevator down to the data crypt level, where you will have to enter a building and take a special elevator into the data crypts. Just a lot of bureaucracy.
Velamris, and I feel like Velamris would know this. If anything, he would just have to stop and look around to figure out exactly which way to go, but he knows exactly what he's looking for. He's just not familiar with this particular site.
Is it low sticks in Warhammer 40K?
Yep. Low sticks.
As you head out behind the Administratum building, there are a dozen people perfectly in time taking a smoke break, smoking their low sticks, putting them down, blowing it out. They move as if their hearts beat as one with the precision of a clock. You all step onto a rickety elevator lift that looks like it belongs in a mining shaft, which I'll remind you, this once was. As you slowly lower into the floor, all 12 of them stare at you with the dead eyes of a bureaucrat just getting through the day. At the bottom of the lift, you can see the door to the tertiary data crypt has recently been tagged with a gang sign.
I've been here for several weeks. Is this something that I may or may not have noticed before?
I mean, and not here specifically, but infractionists committing crimes is not super surprising.
Well, this particular symbol.
Yeah, let's make a logic test.
Oh, that one's not terrible.
I will take specialization in either investigation or
no, I don't have anything on that. I think this is more of a kind of a get to know my area / I did have that brief altercation with the I don't remember what their name was.
Yeah. Yes, you do. You recognize this as the sign of an infractionist gang called the Tunnel Snakes. And at a +4, you recognize that the Tunnel Snakes are the ones that actually killed the previous factored agents that were part of this organization.
The people that we're replacing.
Yes. They killed the last team.
Okay.
Oh, at least they got out of their system.
I think I will I'll definitely make something of a note and to the other two and be like, and this is down on the 43rd sub-level. Like, yes. We're going down.
You're very close to the outside of the rock.
Okay. I'm going to rest a hand over my pistol. I'm not going to draw it, but the fact that it's 43 levels down and they've tagged this area, and I know that they had something to do with the previous group, I'm definitely going to be like, hey, eyes up. That symbol right there is the Tunnel Snakes. They definitely did something to some of Darkwind's people previously. And the fact that that tag is down here means that they themselves could be here observing, active, or just a presence.
Hey, he just said the first line, and Rassie's hands are on the shotgun. And he's like, okay, now I'll listen to why I'm doing this, but there's no delay. Delays kill guardsmen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really like a combat specialist. Like, yes, I went to the same school that like the Sisters of Battle do, but I sort of completely failed all of those lessons.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get to it, because I know the business end of a gun, but I'm not exactly a marksman.
Okay. I just want to
may not be a lie, by the way.
Just want to set it up so that when I stand behind you, you know that it's not personal.
Well, you're
Elysians are noted marksmen. Don't worry about it, sister.
I feel better too. And me, the player, wants to blow a kiss to Rassie, just to be a smart ass. But I don't think Velamris would do that. But yeah, other than that, like he's just gonna move forward towards the tertiary adjunct, whatever. But
The tertiary data crypt.
Yeah, that one. He'll have his, obviously the one arm will have all the paperwork. Am I carrying everybody's paperwork or just mine?
Everybody's, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll carry everybody's, but my other hand is, kind of like on my hip, or in a position where I could quickly pull my pistol out from under my robes.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye out because I don't know what exactly may or may not happen, but somebody who's been here longer seems to think something might happen.
You walk up to the keypad and enter in the standard Administratum Tertiae Data Crypt code, which is 135975421. With that, the door opens and you can see a sort of dimly lit area with a few crates that have been scattered around. The floor is graded so you can see the data crypt down beneath you where servitors are moving about, and a terminal where you can enter which part of the data crypt you need to go to, and the floor beneath the terminal will turn into a sort of elevator that will take you down and over to where you need to. It's like in Rogue One, where you have to find the specific area to put your file into. Just bureaucratic nonsense.
Of course, we couldn't just have one centralized repository.
As the three of you step through the door, someone steps out from behind one of those crates, and by step, what I actually mean is moonwalk backwards. They are shirtless, and they are wearing combat fatigues and combat boots. They have two knives in their hands, and they have an unnatural hunch of being like a mutant, like a hunchbacked mutant. They have something like Rassie's Guile hair, but it's all brought together in a thoroughly bleached blonde point. And with like long, sharper than normal teeth, they go, "Tunnel snakes rule. We're the tunnel snakes." And from behind two other crates, people pop up with guns. "That's us, and we rule." Give me your stuff.
So he told us specifically that this group is the ones that killed our predecessors.
Yes.
I shoot him in the face.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no surprise on So because you know who this is, there's no surprise on either side. And because you know your foe, you get a +1 superiority. Is there anything anyone would like to pitch to me for the know thy players +1 superiority? Which would be another good thing to have going in. Does anyone have any clever strats or anything?
No,
okay. It's okay if there's no answer to this. We're just going through everything for combat in a checklist.
I'm assuming being taller than the meat shield is a problem for me right now. So,
I've heard from Holly that not to expect Holly to be great in a fight, and I already don't like the other guy anyway. So I'm going to step in front of. I'm going to like sidestep in front of Holly while the shotgun goes up to try to give Holly an opportunity to either stay behind me or run out of the initial shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the terrain because you said they popped out from some boxes and whatnot. I'm looking for my own cover.
I did say that there was terrain, and I didn't get tokens for Holly and Velamris. That's something to do later. That Giga Brain. Let's see here. For some reason Holly's has a weird aura, but let's just go with it.
But given my tactical movement talent, I'm trying to eye where I can grab onto Holly and try to bring Holly with me.
Oh, you have the get down, Mr. President.
I can take cover as a free action.
Okay. I knew you had something.
Well, when it's your turn, that will definitely come up. Do you all have control of your tokens?
I hadn't loaded them for me yet.
Oh, am I the one without the orange?
Let me try refreshing.
Holly is the one on the top, and You are the one in the middle, Velamris.
Ah, yes, that's the one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, then I'm.
You can set up anywhere behind this white line.
Then if I have the opportunity to set up anywhere behind this line, I'm dragging Holly over here.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm heading.
I'm having trouble with it. This keeps getting stuck at loading 97%. I'm trying a different browser.
Well.
But
Could
I'm
just
trying to
use
get
the
in behind
stream to
that crate
connect
right
there.
there.
But I will also need to know everyone's initiative, which
-5.
Oh, yeah, there we go. The special. So in this
7.
system, initiative is just a flat number. There's no rolling. For the
Yeah, there
folks
is an
at home.
optional rule for doing.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that. My favorite part about this game is that under the equipment section, it says that everything about equipment is an optional rule and the GM can do whatever they want. And I just like it when people tell me that I can already do what I'm going to do anyway. So Quineel is at a 7. Holly is at a 5.
Rassie is a 6.
Rassie, wow, that lines up really well, doesn't it? And according to my notes here, gangers have a... Change are these guys on? Wrote it down, I swear. Tunnel snakes rule. Where are the tunnel snakes? It's us. 316 in the recent rule book. Gangers have a initiative of 7, so Quineel, you will be going first, and then the gangers will go. 2 of them are behind chest-high barricades, and the one with knives, the one out front, is the one that stepped around this weird locked box with a keypad on it.
The white line indicates 2 zones, does it?
The white line indicates where you can set up behind, but unless you want to say otherwise, you have been physically dragged by one of your companions.
To safety.
To safety.
All right, well, I want to shoot the Moonwalker, ideally in the face.
Sure.
So that's going to be ranged combat. Ranged. I don't have my long gun. Do I get any modifiers or anything for...
You are at short range because it's 10 meters or less.
And does that give me like a +10 or something?
I don't believe so. It just means that you're close enough that you can't shoot him.
Okay. I'm all right with that. So I miss, but I don't break my gun.
The great news is that I believe it's a 95 to 100 that is a critical failure that jams you. So.
I'm going to say 96.
Okay.
I believe it's the last 5.
That would be the last 5, yes. Your gun doesn't jam. You go to smoke this fool that's like...
time.
And you go to fire, and you just totally miss him as he around you. He's going to return the favor by running directly towards you in a charge and trying to stab you to death.
Okay. Do I have any defensive actions like dodge or parry?
You will be able... I mean, you're using a gun, so I don't believe you can parry, but you can dodge after he's hit.
Okay. And is that
that is a miss, unfortunately.
Well,
even with some bonuses.
I'm still gonna wiggle waggle. I'm gonna move. No.
As he runs forward, you can see that on his chest, now that he's fully turned towards you, he has the sort of stylized S snake. It looks exactly like the cool S from the 90s. That is the tunnel snake S. It's like that one, but it has a little dot near the top to represent the eye of the snake.
I'm just glad it wasn't a Shadowrun S.
He runs towards you. You are kind of standing on top of a box firing at him as he charges up to you. He and then he like spins in place and is doing all these fancy moves, and you just keep stepping back, jumping over, or kicking his hand, leaving him immensely exposed out in the open here.
Can I...
Go ahead.
Is it an option that knowing that Rassie is right there with a shotgun, is there something I can do to mitigate any potential being shot by my own partner if he decides to go this way?
Nope.
Like
I don't
maybe
think so.
Crouch. Okay.
Not at this time. Not
He's
in the
already
way
stated
you've
he
placed
doesn't like
yourself.
me, so.
You placed yourself fully in the open on top of an object.
Well, I couldn't get off to the side there,
Okay.
which was my intent. So.
Well,
Was
the
using it
side
as
is a
cover,
wall.
but-
So
Yeah. Let's try to squeeze in there.
Rassie, you are taking one autogun shot to start with. Rapid fire 3. James, I choose you. You know these rules a little bit better than me. What am I looking at with that?
Okay, so rapid fire means that let's see. Right. In any case, reduce weapons. When you fire this weapon, you declare rapid fire. Do so, you may either choose to grant the weapon the spread trait, or gain advantage on the attack and increase the weapon's damage by its rapid fire rating. So you can either get more people or hit someone better.
Yeah, I wanted to hit more people, and I don't hit anybody on a 90. And then the northernmost one with 2 stub pistols also fires at Rassie. They have burst?
Yep, which if you choose to do it, you add +1 successful, but you reduce the ammo of the gun by 1.
Okay, great. I'm going to do that. And that will definitely be a successful attack. With a +1 success, that's 2 degrees of success there. Rassie, you have an opportunity to dodge this if you would like. And you have cover. And I would note that if you'd like to, there is some superiority out there.
And dodging isn't going to take any options away from me on my turn.
Well, you won't be able to dodge a second time, but they will have all acted anyway.
Okay. Then sure, I might as well.
Okay.
Let's see, combat tab. Dodge. Okay.
Well, you gave yourself the dodge condition.
That's not what I meant to do, but okay.
Well, dodging is an action. It's when you choose to dodge.
3.
You spend your turn avoiding harm until the start of your next turn. You have advantage on. So you have to take you can't take the dodge action reflexively. You take the dodge action in your turn, and it means that all attacks against you, you have at the start of your turn you have advantage on. Yeah, so you always get to defend. You always get to make a reflexes dodge roll to avoid an attack.
Yes, that's
but
what
if you
you're
take the
doing.
dodge action, you get advantage on that.
You don't have advantage on it unless you'd like to spend superiority. So
Nope.
that is less than 2 degrees of success. So,
but it does reduce the degree. It reduces his degrees by
Yes.
it effectively offsets it. Yeah.
So you are going to take 7 damage.
How much armor is cover providing me?
Is it light,
Your
medium, or
armor
heavy cover?
It's by slots on your
I would
hit
say it's
location.
medium because it's administratum
That's
boxes.
4 armor.
Oh,
Yeah,
for medium.
pretty good.
Okay. Then it doesn't matter where it hits me, it pings off my armor.
It fully, we get the less than 45 degree Western sharpshooter. The bullets travel along the line of the box, but in doing so, rather than hit you directly, they deflect off of the box, fall along it, hit your armor at an angle, and deflect away again as that sturdy, fresh Imperial Guard armor does its job. But now you've got that gunmetal scar on that perfect olive drab.
Bastards chipped your paint.
So they have fully bursted out and not accomplished very much, which brings us around to the turn of Rassie at 6.
So the 2 behind the boxes, are
Yes.
they close enough to be within arm's reach of each other if they wanted to be?
Yeah, let's say so.
Okay.
And a grenade.
No, I'm going to use the shotgun. The spread rule, they have
Oh.
to be that close in order to be able to hit the other one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's what the autogunner was trying to do to you and James, was to hit the 2 of you together. Instead, you're going to turn that around on them.
Challenging, and I don't have burst or anything on it. It has spread. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I make my roll.
Well, you rolled a 1, which in this system is a perfect roll.
I also
not a crit though. A crit's when you roll a double.
It's still a perfect roll.
Yeah.
and I do have Deadeye, so it gives me another degree of success for long arms.
Oh, sorry. Wait, did you say a crit is when you roll doubles? Because I rolled a 22.
When you succeed and roll doubles, yes.
Yeah. Well, then I got a crit on Rassie Van Lucht.
Okay, so then you need to roll a critical wound. So you need to roll a D10.
Even if I took no damage.
Oh, that's right. He didn't take any damage from it though. He fully armor absorbed it.
Yeah, let's see if that criticals. When you roll doubles and have a positive SL.
Yes.
Doesn't imply that you don't that it negates the critical. It negates the damage, but you still take the critical effect.
I'll agree with that. A 5.
What location is him as well? You got to roll for a D10 for location. Sorry, no, you take the ones. So that's 2. You take the ones of the. So location 2 is. Anybody got the?
I don't. I have the Ganger stat block open. Well.
Trying to open it up on PDF because it's gonna be
Some
easier.
Combat's on
Hit
198, I believe. So.
2 is left arm.
Okay, left arm with a critical of 5.
5 is dislocated shoulder.
All right.
The strike dislocates your shoulder from the socket. The arm is useless until popped back into place. At the start of each turn, while you have a dislocated shoulder, you must make a fortitude pain test. On a failure, you are stunned until the start of the next turn.
Okay, we do need to make that fortitude test before you make your shot, Rassie.
It's interesting that
Reversing
goes through
time.
armor. All right.
It's critical, my friend. It's critical.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you can be shot with body armor, have no penetration, but still have broken or dislocated bones. So,
well,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to add that I have a critical wound here to my sheet. I can't change my 0.
Effects.
I would say maybe just write it down in like a notes section for now, or write it in your actual notes. I don't know that we need to keep track of it in the sheet. Just mid-combat. You know what I mean?
All right, so dislocated shoulder.
Yep.
Okay, so on the combat tab, there's a critical wound thing. You just add a new critical wound there.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, new critical.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see the critical wounds on there.
Okay.
I have a dislocated shoulder.
Yep. Let's make that fortitude roll. I would point out you have superiority if you'd like to get advantage on this.
I will spend F8 on that because I already did the roll. So,
what does he have to do to get advantage? Because that would be a good success. If he was able to use it.
Advantage would be spending superiority, right? You can.
Superiority gives you +1 success level.
Okay. Oh, my bad then. All right. Yeah, so you are reversing that into a 0-9, which is a success. So it all still goes down. You still shoot them. The bad news is that you do lose the superiority in the process because you received a critical wound. What is the damage on your...
Superiority isn't lost and spent. It's effectively we can each use it once per turn.
Superiority on page 197 says... You lose a point of superiority every time a party member receives a critical wound.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes, that one's lost. So I think you're talking about him using the superiority would be lost. No. Right? Yeah.
So do we have? We still have 1 superiority.
No, you have no superiority now. You have 0.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we had 2 for some reason.
You don't want to go into the negative.
all right, so 6 degrees of success on the shotgun.
And the damage on it?
So each additional degree of success adds 1 to damage.
Yes.
So that'd be 12 damage.
Oh, so it's 6 and 6. Okay. With their armor taking 2 off, that means they take 10.
So the primary guy is dealing with the full damage.
Yep. And the spread target?
And the spread target, he makes a challenging reflexes dodge. And if he fails, he suffers half the damage that the other guy takes.
He succeeds by a lot.
So so the second guy will only take half damage.
Okay, so 5. Is that? Oh, it's probably half before armor. So 12 half is 6 with armor of 2. That means he takes 4. Okay, the first guy that you hit takes a lot of damage. Sorry, the woman that you hit her with the shotgun and like you blow away her gang leathers. She's business in the front, shaved front head, sides, mullet in the back, full ponytail, mullet business here. It's parts of her face are speckled with like buckshot now. She's not doing well at all, and you have severely harmed her in this way. Anything else you want to do?
I mean, we're in cover. I'm making sure Holly's still in cover.
And I'm remembering now they're both behind boxes. So actually one of them doesn't take any damage. And the other one is slightly less damaged. Okay, Holly, it is now your turn.
Okay, I am going to attempt to pop the shoulder back in. I'm going to use my Chirurgeon's kit. I'm going to use one of its uses in order to get plus 40 on the roll.
Okay.
To remove a condition. So it's going to be a Medicaid test plus 40. I will fake that 99.
God Emperor smiles on you all this day.
But not
that much.
Failed.
Not that much.
At least you're not making it worse.
Wow. Fortunately, you're on his left side, but as you desperately try to get the shoulder back in place, he is trying to fire a shotgun one-handedly.
Yep.
And it results in the two of you messing with each other. Coming back around, Velamris Quineel.
Yep, I'm shooting this fucker in the face.
Okay, you are now at, it's not called intermediate range.
It's immediate range.
Immediate range.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can fire a non-pistol into.
It's got to have the close. It's got the close trait. You can fire at immediate range.
Yeah.
Do you have the close trait?
Rapid. Yeah, it does. It's the auto pistol.
Okay, let's go.
And I do have now rapid fire. How does that work?
So you can either choose to give it spread, or you can choose. It was almost to.
Before I forget. The shotgun also has the inflict condition. The one that I did do damage to is prone.
Okay,
Nice.
She drops down.
I think that you get a resistance test against inflict.
If an attack with this weapon deals wounds, the target suffers the condition.
Oh yeah, that's it. There you go. So that's up the wounds.
Okay, I'm just gonna stand up on my turn, but it's good to know.
So rapid fire is always true. I mean, the burst trait. You can choose to either have advantage, or the spread trait.
Well, it's just this guy here, so I'll take advantage.
Okay, let's go.
Begin.
And you reduce your magazine by the rapid fire rating of the gun when you do that.
Okay. So 1 success. Damage is 5, plus that 1 is 6. And then the additional damage because of rapid fire, correct?
Well, because rapid fire would have given you advantage, so you would have actually rolled a 3 there.
Yes.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So that would have given you 3 additional.
I should have rolled with advantage. Yeah. Okay, I see. All right.
So you'll have
4 degrees success.
What's the damage of the gun?
5 is the base damage.
Okay, so with plus 4, that's 9 minus armor is 7.
Hit the right arm.
Okay.
And I believe that is all I can do, unless you're going to allow me to attempt to stab him with a knife in my left hand. But I don't think I do have
Gear
ambidextrous.
Solid 3.
I mean,
you're like, I'm a CQB expert. No, we'll let him do the stabbing. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's do that stabbing. Nope, I don't stab you. He desperately attempts to stab you brutally over and over again. He switched to the underhanded grip and is just coming down towards you. And I feel like it's just you using the same dance moves we saw earlier to dodge him. Hey, this is a grim dark office comedy. It's comedy. Which brings us back to our shooters. So the one with the long gun is going to stand up, and then she is going to. Oh wait, is it stacking status conditions rather than removing them? Yeah, there we go. Fire at Rassie again. This time, rather than going for spread, she's going for advantage with her auto gun.
So the recommendation, I don't know if it's one of those things recommends, because rapid fire is quite powerful. They recommend with mooks, every time they rapid fire, they've got to reload as a following action because they've got poor fire discipline.
No, I'm going to just do it because this isn't going well for me, James.
Okay, no
worries. They're quite weak. So 34 is still a 34, which is 1 degree of success, which is 7 points of damage as it hits.
He gets the dodge.
Yeah, he gets a dodge, and of course you get the cover of the boxes and your armor, even if you don't dodge. That's not going to do it. You are going to reduce it to 6 damage, which I believe with your armor and the boxes means it just deflects off again.
Yeah.
James is over here trying to save your life, and I'm over here like, please let me do anything at all.
He dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah, okay. We'll see how that works. If your gun is two-handed, by the way, you won't be able to use it.
I can't use a shotgun anymore.
Stub pistol is going to also fire at Rassie Van Lucht. 38 is good enough, but that is 0 degrees of success.
They dodge once.
And the damage will be 6. So again, they fire the pistol, and it's just not enough to get through the cover and your armor. So, yeah, you're taking hits. It's like a hailstorm of tiny bullets, but it's dangerous out here. And it is your turn.
How often do our consumable base equipment things replenish?
I believe it's at every episode.
But it's each mission, so it depends on what you consider to be a mission.
We'll talk about it. But if you want to go crazy right now, it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get the shotgun up, so I've got the knee behind the box, so I just drop the back of the shotgun and I unclip a frag grenade from my harness, and I go to throw the hand grenade.
Very well.
At the pair behind the box.
Yeah, good luck. This is one you don't want to hit a 99 on.
Yeah. And that should be a...
It's ranged thrown.
Yeah. So just a regular range for me.
Oh, nope, that's bad for me. That's bad for me. It easily sails over the box and lands quite close to them.
So they both make reflexes dodge rolls.
Great. Great. Cool.
That's not good.
That was a critical failure. Success, sort of.
So the degrees of failure add to the damage, just like the degrees of success do.
Okay, so 5 degrees, huh? Okay, yeah, great. What's the damage?
So with 5 degrees of failure added to it?
Well, so the first guy's 8 because he gets his 3 degrees success. You fail by 5, so he gets 8 degrees on that guy.
Right, but the base damage of the grenade
is 6.
Okay, so that's 14.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one with the pistols is just gone, just chunky salsa. And the dodger is 6, 9. -1 for the dodge success. So does it half damage on dodge, or it just removes degrees of success?
Just removes degrees of success.
Okay, so 8 more damage plus the armor is still enough to kill them. You toss the grenade, and the dude with the knives watches both of his friends die in an explosion that covers blood and shrapnel in an area behind the box. And he drops both of his knives and holds his hands up. Holly, it's your turn.
All right, I will attempt once again to try and get that arm back in. Now he's not using the arm at least.
Go ahead.
All right.
Are you
Rolling
spending a
another
Medicaid?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Okay, wow. Success. Okay, so
Crawling across the line.
yeah, it's back in.
Nice.
So I get rid of the critical.
Yeah, Rassie,
Yep,
it hurts like hell as your shoulder pops back into place and you feel that bone-on-bone grind.
Probably doesn't hurt as much as what got him that scar on his face.
Okay, edgelord.
All right, this guy's surrendered.
He's dropped his knives and he's holding his hands up.
I want to shoot him in the face.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll for that. You stick your gun in his face and you pull the trigger and he dies.
You made me roll for it and I shot myself in the face.
That was cyberpunk.
I think technically I need to reload though because if the auto pistol says I have a mag of 3. Let me find it real quick. Magazine of 3. I used rapid fire 3. That should have completed the magazine, so I have to reload.
Okay.
So unless AP says otherwise, I'm gonna reload.
You reload right in front of him and then shoot him in the face, and he dies looking surprised.
I'm gonna lock eyes with him while I'm doing it too.
Oh my, yeah.
He hits the ground next to his 2 knives, and a pile of gray matter and blood is sprayed everywhere in this grimdark office comedy. Emphasis not on comedy this time, but on grimdark.
Well, at one time, comedy did imply a certain tragic element.
It's
okay, Greek, calm down.
I think Rassie is just sort of rolling the shoulder and looks over at the sister and says, "Thanks. Feels better."
Velamris is going to look over. Y'all good over there?
That's all. It's broken in. Looks good.
I'm going to reload my pistol again, so I have a full magazine of 3 rounds.
It's not 3 rounds.
You only use it when you use the rapid fire.
Yeah, no.
As the 3 of you take a moment to let the adrenaline out of your system and make your way towards the Administratum terminal, we fade to black as we go into our second and final break.
Will we have a chance to loot the bodies? Finding
when we come back. When we come back. Jeez Louise.
So great.
Welcome back to Park 3, where everyone scattered like roaches as soon as I returned and acted really weird. I don't know why my players are playing against me. Velamris, can you roll 3d10?
I can do that. Let's see.
Okay. So back at the office, you are putting down a wallet and some ident cards and 17 solars. A picture of the guy with the hunchback and the spiked hair standing holding a young woman on his shoulder. She looks like she's like 6 or 7 years old. They're both smiling towards the Pict. Yeah, that's what you have from looting.
Okay.
And you're back at the office, and you can see that Liturgical is looking at all of you and says, "How did you finish all of that so quickly? You've only been gone for less than an hour."
I know my way around Administratum, so I just made my way.
Right. Is Rassie here?
I'm right here, sir.
Okay, good. All right, let's begin the presentation. Rogue traders. What you know about them doesn't interest me, and I don't care. What you do need to know is that when they come back from their fantastic adventures, they don't have time to wait to gather up the supplies they need. When a rogue trader arrives in port, they need to offload a huge amount of supplies and take in ammunition, replacement gear, equipment, food. Who does that? You. You do that. You're the guys and girls who do that. You do it seamlessly so that the rogue trader never notices. That's what you get paid for. And how do you pay for those things? With the things the rogue trader has taken off of their ship. Everyone with me so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. He gestures to the 3 thermometers And he says, ammunition, equipment, food. You need 6 months worth of that. Now, let me give you an example. There are 3 cruisers and a Karrak transport that are part of the Rogue Traders fleet. With the 2,000 Imperial Navy armsmen on board, that's 95,000, 90,000, 65,000, 18,000, and 2,000 for 270,000 persons on board. That many souls has to be fed good food at 40 solars a day for 6 months, which is roughly 183 solars. We put 5% overage in there. You're looking at a pretty high number. Is James doing that?
11.34 million solars.
I stopped after I wrote down the numbers. I thought about crunching it, but I was like, nah.
That's not money you have. That's not money many people have. And that's just one of the 3 tasks you're going to do. Obviously, you don't carry that much money on you. And the kind of people you'll be dealing with probably aren't only going to want money. He slides a tablet, and don't think I mean an electronic tablet. I mean a literal stone tablet, which has had carved into it several pieces of information. You have these things to negotiate with, as well as, let's consider it somewhat unlimited funds, upwards of 10 million solars. A promised 5-minute conversation with Sector Lord Aulus Sejanus. 100 suits of ancient but well-maintained power armor, valued at 1 million thrones each. Up to 5 years of service of the Guild of Infomongers of High Valios on Persephone. A working set of planetary weather stabilization satellites. An invitation to the Maven's auction on Asterion, and 2 million heads of Cultus porcine. Whoever you have to talk to, and these rocks, whatever you need to promise them, you have here. Now, I know where the power armor is stored. I don't want to see any of it go missing. Understand that Chaderius will personally kill you if you mess around here. But you've got relatively unlimited resources and a lot of money behind you to make these things happen. And he slaps his hand on the board with the 3 thermometers. That's all we're asking of you. You have 6 months to gather 6 months worth of supplies when our boys come back from a successful campaign against the Torashar.
So to be clear, the Rogue Trader fleet has already left. This is the stuff we have to trade to acquire the stuff he's going to need when he returns.
Correct. He left this morning.
Okay.
So
he left in the opening cinematic.
That 40 solars a day. So was that to cover all the needs, or that was just to cover the food needs?
That's just the food needs.
And they still need equipment.
He gestures to 3 thermometers and he says, yes, equipment, ammunition, and food. To be clear, ammunition is not like bolter rounds or small arms. It's for the ships.
Naval grade.
Macro cannons and such.
And what is covered by equipment?
Small
What
arms.
sorts of...
Armor.
Okay.
Anything you might need. Chairs, furniture, replacement parts on the ship.
So let me just double check everything right. 5-minute conversation with the Sector Lord.
I put it in Discord.
Oh, thank God, because I tried to write it. I know I missed like 2, definitely.
I said it like that because I knew I was going to just copy paste it for you. Yeah. There's plenty of Imperial offices here, and if you can find extra vehicular transport, you can head over to the Adeptus Mechanicus. There's a cult, different infractionists, the Leagues of Votan, some say there's a renegade navigator house out on Cites Gamma, and if you're insane, the crude, I guess. He turns and looks around the room. He says, and Rassie, of course, you know Lord Colonel Renard. I believe he doomed you, something like that. He's still looking. It's like he can't see you.
Essentially, sir.
When you talk, he turns to face you fully and says, right, yes. Well, he runs the Imperial Guard garrison out on the Space Hulk at Cites Alpha.
I am aware.
Talk to people. You work from 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. These offices are yours. Use any desks that you want except for mine. You check in, you check out, you drive where you want to. If you finish early, I don't care. All that matters is that you have this done in 6 months. You're muted.
You're muted.
I was yelling at my kid. I don't know if you guys heard him when he came in looking for the cat. Question, semi out of character. Regarding finding food. I'm assuming that we don't necessarily have a whole lot in the ways of farms and whatnot, but I imagine there's also some sort of, we're not getting corpse starch for these guys, but there's got to be some sort of food production of some sort here.
Well, we have got, there's 2 million pigs as well, but that only covers like, a certain portion of people's dietary needs.
So the pigs are on the planet Kroltis. So if you want them, you need to transport them here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can use them as a bargaining chip to sell something else to someone. You can say, you can take receipt of these pigs.
Right.
Sorry,
you were looking for...
They are Kroltis porcine, not pigs.
Yeah. You were looking for an office comedy. I'm afraid it's going to be 6 months of Barter Kings as we slowly swap through these things. It's like oh, I've got these lawn chairs. What I really want is a 16-wheeler rig. So I now need to swap through 30 different items to get that.
So is there a local food production?
No, all food
plant
here is brought in via transport,
Imported.
Whether it's Greenskins or Xenos or Imperial Navy. It is imported.
Outsourced the food.
And here's where it'd be loaded here, though. So when the fleet returns, they're returning here to the Iron Archipelago.
Correct.
Right.
Do we have the resources to leave the Iron Archipelago if we need to, or we have to conduct all the business from here? Because your specific patron is the rogue trader, you can get access to a starship to transport you to other places regularly. But just know, it's the warp. You could be gone for a very long time.
Or not at all.
Or not at all. But you could die instantly.
Yeah. Okay.
So what was this guy's name again? The one we're speaking with?
Liturgical, the psyker, who is your supervisor.
Okay.
I think we can lean on the Adeptus Mechanicus to get a lot of our weapons and ammo and equipment. At least to get the opening inquiries going. So
look, this is the way that I'd like to look at this. And I don't know whether the two of you are into wheeling and dealing as well. Like obviously I broker a lot of my organization brokers a lot of political marriages, but it's a similar thing. So first off, we know what we want. We probably need to quantify that a bit better. Like what is 6 months worth of food for 270,000 souls of what is 6 months worth of equipment, ammo, etc. But once we know what we want, we need to know more about what we have. So we need to sort of understand, what is the actual value of these various things? What does 5 years of service of the Guild of Infamongers actually translate to? We need to work out who has what we want and whether or not what we've got is what they want. And if it's not, we need to find a chain of deals to connect what we have with the people that have what we want, and make sure that the values add up. So I think our first step needs to be to probably go away and research what we actually have, understand it better, and then we also need to find. Probably need to work out. And this is where you're going to come in. I think Voluminous, sorry,
Velamris.
Voluminous is probably working out exactly what's our target state. What is 6 months worth of food? What's 6 months worth of 6 months of ammunition? So that we can then go and find who might have that.
I think I can do a little bit of research.
And,
Might take a little bit, but I think I can get it. A few days, a week.
the means of acquisition is a little bit different, but I worked with regimental quartermasters.
There's an Imperial Guard here on this asteroid, is there not?
Yeah.
Do you have any inroads with them, perhaps?
Maybe.
If not, we could always send Sister Holly, who apparently has the gift of gab. So
I think I can get myself an in.
okay, that might help some of the food, maybe even some of the ammo and that. But I'm sure the Imperial Guard is not going to want to give up a lot. My understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to want to hold on to whatever ammo they have for when they need it. And it's the Imperial Guard. Their job is to go out and do. They're going to use it.
From my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, because you probably know better, but like the administration's first state is that every Imperial Guard regiment has the equipment that it needs, right? But in reality, every Imperial Guard regiment either has too little or too much.
I cannot confirm or deny that. That feels pretty accurate, unfortunately. Paperwork does take time to move through the system.
Yeah, so we just need to find the haves, not the have-nots. Correct. Yeah, unless what we have fits the bill for the have-nots.
And there's an opportunity here. If even if the regiment here is not having their paperwork and regiments disappear, they're
always look directly at me.
There's always going to be a need for more or an ease in getting things, especially that adds a degree of versatility to the command. So you might be able to give me something to barter with the guard.
All right. I just have to quickly ask the Turtle a question. Give me a moment. I'll go back to the psycho. Excuse me, one question for you. Is there any sort of accelerator program, like if we have 7 months worth or 8 months worth of stuff when this is all required, like, you know, if we blow out those three thermostats, is there any sort of, you know, additional incentive or accelerator program?
So certain you're going to succeed on your first try.
I just need to know what I'm shooting for.
I assure you that if you arrive with extra material, you will be commensurately rewarded by a rogue trader.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to look over to Holly as she turns back to us. I'm going to be like, and probably expected to get even more the next time around. So perhaps a certain amount of balancing is needed here. Nothing that we can't attempt, of course.
I just wanted to make sure whether overages become waste or not.
A fair question.
Yeah.
Well, we should. It sounds like our plan is to start by figuring out what our standing is. What are we going to make up, and what do we need to get to?
AP, I feel like over a couple of days, maybe a week or so, I could probably look around with as far as records and things of that nature to see what we might have. And then it would be just a matter of verifying, maybe with hands-on, eyes-on. Is that an option?
I mean, is there anything that Velamris might find for the last shipment that was put together? Paperwork for that?
That would be a great starting point, actually.
That's a good question. That will be answered in the next episode.
The cool thing about data delving is you can turn it into an advantage. if I don't like the roll. Just flip it.
I think as the three of you put your heads together and work excitedly, standing side by side, going over paperwork, coming up with ideas, and having, perhaps for the first time in a while, hope for the future, we hear the thematic theme song of a grimdark office comedy plays as the audience cheers, and we hear a wave of clapping as the credits begin to roll, overlaid over the three of you working. Let's just take a pause here and check in with how we're doing at the end of our first episode. How you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm loving it. I think this little, I'll use the word rivalry. I don't know if it's necessarily the right word, but I really love the interaction between Quineel and Van Lucht. This rivalry / you motherfucker, you left me to die through ineptitude. You didn't even know what you did. And I really like how that's going to play out. I think that's going to be an interesting angle.
It's cooking.
Yeah, I like it.
It's
I'll let him cook, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those Rassie's like, I can't say anything right now, or I might just shoot him. So I'm just gonna seethe for a bit till I calm down. Blowing up those infractionists was a nice stress relief.
I was just thinking the same thing. I think we might even catch something of a not necessarily a post-credit scene kind of thing, but at some point we might catch a clip of Velamris back in his quarters, and he's going to take that picture of the ganger that he shot, and he's going to stick it to the wall.
Wow, that's
wall. Yeah, well, so one thing I didn't get a chance to talk too much about it, but I think he's going to use two different walls. One, he's going to use something of a in both these cases, are going to be conspiracy boards. One is figuring out interactions and groups and whatnot here, so he can help keep track of things and who to go to for this, that, and the other. The other one is as a personal hobby, detailing the history of the Hand of Calixus.
Oh, still in
specifically
service.
Well, not so much the ship, but a certain crew led by a certain
well, they've been dead for like 450 years, but
no,
okay.
I thought, didn't Pierre, isn't he still around?
Still alive.
Like,
everyone else
barely?
is dead. Well, not Holly. Dawn, I guess, can't ever die unless she gets tired and decides to stop, but yeah. So Adrian, Nero, and
he's actually going to be interested in Androchiron as well.
Yeah, Androchiron's super dead. Androchiron probably died before anybody else.
He probably, didn't he also get plugged back in after all of that?
Oh my God, James, what is going on back there?
I love that image. That's awesome.
Inquisition for Dummies.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah.
Everyone can take 50 experience points.
Excellent. Now I got to figure out how to work that in from character creation. I'm going to put it in notes right now.
Right. I got here we go. Description. Episode 1.
Yeah.
50. We're talking about making ledgers, and there's a ledger for keeping track of your XP.
All right.
Oh, wait, that didn't work the way I thought it would.
Same close.
It needs to be negative. There we go. Okay.
Well, rather than do GM homework, what needs to happen is you all need to tell me how you're coming at this problem next week. I call it reverse GMing.
Of course you do.
Hey, you have a whole week to do your homework, so I expect I'll hear about it about 10 minutes before the episode starts. I've played Stars Without Numbers before.
Oh man, the countdown started. Hey, what are we gonna do for goals?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
yeah. I've literally heard it all before.
At least it's different than what are you doing here? I'm joining the episode. That was my
I did
different
notice
show.
I noticed AP's got a guest slot in the virtual server.
What?
Ooh.
What? Do I already have a guest lined up? What? Does the overlay have a spot for a guest right over here? I was worried I wasn't going to turn my head the right way. It's because my camera's reversed and I don't always remember that it's reversed. That's crazy. A guest on this show? That's crazy.
I'm watching to hear that.
I'm really looking forward to hearing Holly wheel and deal some more. That was so much fun.
You aren't. You're not looking forward to Holly wheeling and dealing. You're looking forward to James wheeling and dealing, which is not the same thing at all.
A fair distinction, but also not wrong.
See,
we all
Rassie's
saw his prologue episode.
Rassie wants to get better at that sort of thing and needs to watch and learn.
I'm worried that James is going to end up having me give him everything, and I'm just going to be like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I was thinking before AP that something I was thinking about the other day was that because obviously this takes part in the future of the Rogue Trader game,
yes,
which also took part in the future of the Wrath and Glory game.
Yep.
That one character that could make an appearance in some future thing would be the Eldar I played.
Your Eldar, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So, yeah.
I've actually been haunted by the memory of that Eldar because someone left me a comment that was like, you always stop and ask James for the Eldar point of view. Have you ever considered that asking people like for the racial point of view is like really racist? I got that comment last week and I was like, I'm going to stare at the ceiling for the next hour and this is going to hurt me deeply inside. But I'm trying to get some lore dumps, okay? I was trying to just get some lore. I don't know Warhammer 40K very well.
Like I certainly like the like Rogue Trader does a great job of letting you know exactly how fucked up Eldar are in terms of their outlook on humans and in general, especially the Dark Eldar.
So you're saying, James, that you want to guest star on a show you're already a player character on?
Obviously can't do that, but I'm also conscious that a lot of people say never give Arthur control of your past characters.
Isn't there a history of them just dying?
No, Rad was mad because I didn't play him. I didn't play
that's what it was.
McGurk the way he thought McGurk should be played.
Yeah.
He was like, you can have McGurk now. And I played McGurk, and he goes, that's not how you play McGurk.
Yeah.
Someone else in chat just said, yeah, because they die. I'm being turned off by my own audience. Guys, come on.
Yeah. Eldar just do very well in AP's 40K shows either.
Yeah, I mean, normally because I kill them. Hey, we haven't met a single Eldar yet. Or have we?
The door opens. You see an Eldar Ranger on the other side of the room. Heavy bolter. You gonna do anything? Heavy bolter.
No, don't undersell it. I said don't move and they turned around, okay? Come on, you gotta give me credit. I gave them an option.
Look, I play Ready or Not. I know how that works.
Oh my god, Ready or Not. I was watching someone play that today and I was just like, I regret not playing this with Kain, but also I'm bad at this game and I would not be good at it. I'm watching people that are like corner peeking and shit and like multi-tapping to like get one guy around a corner and I'm just like, ooh, I would have run around that corner running and gunning.
I only discovered the other day that if you accidentally shoot a civilian in that game, it opens up the ability to give the rest of your squad an order to come and kill you.
Ooh, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, you can give them a kill me order. Oh, we lost Omar.
Wow, we lost Omar at the last second.
Mm.
I'm just going to leave the cameras where they are rather than fiddle-faddle. We know who we are by now.
Okay, I'm back, apparently.
Great.
So, apologies. I don't know what the hell happened there.
It feels like a good transition for outroductions, though. So let's go in reverse order, starting with Kain. Just if you have any projects you want to attract people's attention
to. Who's in Kain's slot on the overlay now, though?
It doesn't matter.
I am actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. Someone's got to give.
But I didn't say Kain Spot.
Answer.
I said Kain.
Well, I'm not gonna say any more than Omar does on his project, but I'm looking forward to it. That's the next thing I'm getting into. Otherwise, I think if that launches and I'm in it, that I'm tapped. It's already too many games. So
look at this guy. He's like, I could be in something, but maybe I'm not. I'm not really sure, and I can't talk about it. Come on, man. Sell yourself on the things you can talk about. Wow, complete silence.
I don't know.
What an answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how to
Perfect.
navigate
You can
this.
catch him tomorrow night for Stars Without Numbers Revised.
I'll figure this out.
Louise. You can also catch him on Discord live chatting about what episode of Blood Bowl he's watching.
That's true.
From the distant past.
Giving people fond memories, or the occasion where I drop a memory and everyone's like, don't mention it. Please don't mention it.
Yeah. Omar Krieg, what do you got for an introduction?
Hi, I'm Omar Krieg. Twitch.tv/Omar Krieg, YouTube.com/@Omar Krieg. I have some Battletech stuff, the Greyland Trios League, which is a 3-on-3 Solaris gladiatorial sort of thing. James is a member of that crew, along with a few other people and a bunch of NPC teams. I also have Traveler 2300 on Wednesdays, which is a science fiction future type show set in, ironically, the year, or close to it anyway, 2300. What else? I do have a project coming up. We have our first meeting this week. Kain is in that meeting. Whether or not he stays with the project, of course, will be up to him based on the contents of that meeting.
Wow.
And everybody else's
Sounds
input.
like someone got fired already. Jesus.
This meeting, I called it our -1 session because it's not going to be character creation necessarily, unless we get there as a group. It's more about explaining what I want to do with the campaign, or the campaign ideas I have, taking input from the other players and seeing what they want to do, and of course nailing down the day and time each week that we meet. So hopefully everything lines up for everybody and we can actually get the project launched. But I'm looking forward to it and I'm pretty stoked about it. Other than that, Blood Bowl from time to time, and my Solasta thing on Mondays, which I'm actually wanting to end so that we can do the project that I'm having a meeting on Tuesday about. Yeah, that, and you can find me on AP's Discord constantly, usually trolling.
Okay. Grim Dark James.
Had a great time tonight. I glad we got at least one dance battle in. I thought maybe when those guys jumped out, we could have gone for a second one, but apparently we were too keen to start shooting first. I think we got to lean into the comedy because I feel like the audience is probably enjoying it. So hopefully you are, because this is not going to be your father's 40K program.
We were on the same wavelength when you asked about what role to do a dance, because I was going to be like, I hand my bag to someone and just start dancing.
You drop your duffel bag. You pull out your towel, you wipe off your forehead and put on the headband, and you start doing the shuffle. I was worried someone was going to be like, all right, I start flossing. That's too zoomer. We're not zooted enough for that. All right, well, I'm APGamingREAL. Hopefully, if you're here, you're on my channel somewhere. If not, my video has been kidnapped, and please return it to the nearest Blockbuster.
Some of these people don't know what Blockbuster is.
No, everyone knows what Blockbuster is. It's the thing that was killed by Netflix, okay?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. That's still common knowledge. Because, because Netflix made a movie about how they kill Blockbuster.
I mean, I know when people do that, it's not real, but it hurts as if it was real.
Wow. Wow. So, yeah, I run Battletech games, Stars Without Numbers Revised. And I've got about 10 years worth of backlog, just in case you like getting 4+ games a week, with multiple Warhammer 40K shows, including Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader The Last Scion, which technically takes place in the same timeline as this show. Do you need to watch it to watch this show? Absolutely not. Because everything that's relevant when guest stars show up, you will be told.
Should you watch it anyway? Hell yes.
Oh,
Yes.
you're the game master, so of course you'd say that.
I'll say it as someone who has watched it. It's a really good series. You should watch it.
Okay, there we go.
And don't forget Dark. Was it Dark? What was the? No, what was the?
Dark
the
Inquisition.
Dark Inquisition. That's right. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. The Chaos version of the Inquisition from the other game. Will that be
Otherwise-
relevant in this game? I don't know.
Otherwise, when Hero of the Imperium, like a Centauri gets mentioned, you want to
Like a Santoro, Hero of the Imperium?
Yeah.
I've never seen Pondo so activated as when someone pretended to be him. Hey, we'll be back next week probably. And if not, maybe the week after. We'll see you then, or possibly not. Have a good time zone.